Good afternoon. This is Nigeria Now on Equa Television International. Thank you for joining us. Do well to connect with us because we are live on Facebook and YouTube so that we'll do this discussion together. I have Joyce Jakada with me in the studio.
As always,
Yes.
pleasant afternoon to you, Sambo.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Today, what is really burning, in our country, Nigeria, our beloved country, the country that we love with the whole of our heart, and that is why, in our own side, we try our possible best to see that we contribute our own quota positively, and which, on this particular program, we call on well-meaning Nigerians, those that are patriotic to their nation, to do well as. By contributing their own quota positively. You see, what is going on? Nigerians are really, really complaining about this issue of fuel. They talked about questioning effect after removing fuel subsidy, and then the president assuring Nigerians that they should be patient. They are really working hard to see that palliatives are there to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. That leads to the request, of the 500 billion in order to put it back into the country so that it will cushion the effect. And then just yesterday, waking up this morning, the fuel is 600 plus. Everything, transportation this morning was funny. People are in their working places complaining. I remember how people came to office today and they are lamenting their ordeal, on how they struggle to be in the office with the commercial drivers, And I asked myself, is this thing getting better or is it getting worse? Are these people really in this country and they are feeling what the masses are feeling? I remember in this show you talked about when the labor union threatened to go on strike after subsidy removal, and the federal government now called them for a dialogue, and then the court stopping them, and then 2 months was given, 8 weeks, so that they will see how they will work out modalities. I remember vividly when you said, could it be just 2 months so that Nigerians will just get used to the hardship and then nothing is being done again? And these are questions the Nigerians are asking. Do we truly belong to this country, or some people owned it and we are just slaves in our own land?
Istanbul Solomon, is quite unfortunate, the situation that we've actually found ourselves currently in the country. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I could, looking at relating to the sufferings that the average Nigerian is going through, you can't help but just ask the question, what is our crime? Is our crime, being in Nigeria, is it a crime? That's the question. You recall that about 2 months ago, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made the cliche of fuel subsidy, it's gone. A lot of people celebrated that because it was an issue that for years people have been calling on the removal, because of the fact that it was just some few people taking advantage of the subsidy and then just enriching themselves. And then we saw how that over the years, a lot of people have been stealing this crude oil, selling it to some West African countries. We saw how that some countries, West African countries, were protesting after the removal, saying that, threatening their own customers, and that they are going to increase the price of transportation because Nigeria as a country have removed fuel petrol subsidy. A lot of reactions that statement actually brought. Some people talking about the fact that in the president's inaugural speech, he talked about the fact that his administration is going to consult, is going to talk with people before taking major decisions, and it was contrary to what the decision he made on the same day. And the concern was not really about the decision, but more of the methodology, more of nothing was being put in place, because of course this policy, this removal of fuel subsidy will not have adverse effect on the economy, on every other sector. You know that Nigeria as a country, we more like solely depend on petrol. Almost every sector is dependent on the petrol. And no wonder we saw that after the removal, the likes of the electricity distribution companies are also talking about increasing the tariff, likening it to the fact that because of the increase in price of PMS, the inflation rate as well as the exchange rate, and Nigerians kicked against that. A lot of concern. NLC spoke against that, saying, see, these people that we have been coming up with these things that would directly affect, talking about the common man, like has no source of income. Even the source of income that he's having has been stagnant for years. Yes, we have been seeing increase from one sector or the other, and that is why NLC, TUC kicked against even the removal of the fuel subsidy without putting modalities in place that will cushion the effect. We saw how that they threatened a nationwide strike, but the federal government ran to court and then they were stopped from going on the strike. They started dialogue, conversation, and at the end of the day, we saw how the representative of the federal government, talking about the special advisor on special duties, communication and strategy, that Dele Alaki, saying that, see, we have divided all the demands. We have gone through the demands and we have divided it to long time, mid time and short time. That way it's going to allow us to actually look into all the demands of TUC and NLC, one of which is the increment of minimum wage to like 200,000 naira. And then Nigerians were asked to be patient. We saw how that the president kept telling Nigerians to be patient with the baby step, to endure the hardship. And you know how that statement generated a lot of reaction. If you are telling us to be patient, why can't we see government officials too? Why can't we see the president saying, see, all this money being allocated to me, let's use it to help the people, especially in terms of maybe access to loans and other things that will help cushion the effect. But more like we live in a country where nobody cares about the common man. It was then that we'll say we have the rich, we have the people at the middle class, and then the lower class. But right now, you're either rich or you're poor, and the situation is not even getting better. While we are telling people to be patient, then the situation keeps being worse. It is delusional for us to think that when anything goes up in Nigeria, it will come down. I've always had people say, oh, we should just endure, we should be patient, this thing will be, we are told that it's just now, we are going to enjoy it. Now we are talking about 8 weeks, and then within the 8 weeks, we are seeing that another decision, and there's already a hike again in the price of fuel, just barely two months after the removal of the subsidy, while people are still struggling to live, to survive, right? Like, we are still seeing that there's already hike again in the fuel price. A lot of Nigerians have grown. Most businesses depend on fuel to exist. And if I have to buy petrol as a tricycle rider or as a cabman, how much am I getting? I was listening to a tricycle rider saying that from morning till that 5 p.m. he actually spent almost 4,000 in trying to get petrol, but he was saying he doesn't have 3,000 naira yet from what he has gained. And I was amazed. Yes. So because right now people no longer go out because they're before you go out, you have to think of all of that. And no wonder Nigerians are groaning. We have continued to say that Nigerians are suffering and the government must do something about it. And this is less than 24 hours after the National Bureau of Statistics, that's the NBC, released the data about June inflation. And it shows that the inflation rose like to its highest in close to 2 decades. And then marketers of premium motor spirit, talking about PMS, just quickly jacked up the price by about 25% to 617 naira per litre without notice. And then that has thrown millions of Nigerians into panic. Like, how can, without, like I said, without notice, and it was following the report of the inflation rate within June that actually pushed that. NNPC is already blaming pump price on market realities as petrol actually hits the 617. They are looking at its market reality. But as we speak, Labour, NECA are kicking against the fuel hike. They actually threaten to pull out of the ongoing dialogue. We cannot be saying we are dialoguing and then yet we are taking decision amidst the dialogue. You would recall that, this 8 week that is being given is so that the subcommittees that were created can go and do their findings and come up with report. But as we assume that they are doing their findings, we're already taking decisions. So what is the essence of the committees that are been said, to come up with modalities that will cushion the effect. We are looking at the CNG motors, the giving of civil servant allowances that will help, amongst other things. And then amidst that, we are seeing all of these, and NNPCL is likening it to the reality of the economy right now. And NNPCL have done that. Other marketers too have taught the same part and jerking their own price to over 600 and even 17. We cannot fold our arms. We can't keep quiet to this, because this is not something that I don't know why the government we keep seeing things happening like this, and Nigerians are expected to be, oh, Nigerians are patient people. Just be patient. Just endure. And is it when the common man turn to dust before the government will understand that it needs to be up and about in terms of improving the welfare of its citizens? This is not governance. Governance is about improving the life of the people, not making life worse, not making life hard for the people. And so everyone that is saddled with the responsibility to actually look into this, I'm talking about stakeholders in that sector, I'm talking about the federal government, the president, beyond asking Nigerians to be patient to endure this hardship, must actually look into this. Why we applaud some of the steps he has taken. Right now, Nigerians are groaning. Right now, people are panicking. This removal of fuel subsidy and even this hike in prices of goods and services have thrown more Nigerians into poverty. Just recently, we saw the World Bank report of how about 11 million people in the rural area have been thrown to poverty, and about 4% in the urban area. More people were also thrown to poverty. I think we should do a lot. It's not a good report that half of our population, more than half, are living in poverty. So, well, the needful needs to be done, and we are calling on the federal government and every stakeholder to actually intervene in this situation, so that we don't just make life miserable for the people.
It is sad. It's really sad, because, you know, there's one thing that I know, Joyce, they always say Nigerians are religious people, Nigerians are patient people. Yes, there's no doubt about that. But we expect, if you say Nigerians are patient people, and the questions that Nigerians are asking now is, for how long are we going to be patient? While we see, you know, before our own eyes, you know, even amidst all this economic hardship that we are going on, you know, the instability in every sector, but you still see these leaders, you know, whether elected or appointed, living one kind of life that is one kind of flamboyant life that they live, and they rub it to the faces of Nigerians, those that, you know, cannot afford even 1 or 2 square meals. And you expect, like you said, you know, when you hear them saying Nigerians should be patient, and they will be asking, okay, we should be patient with you, but you cannot sacrifice for us. And if you look at it, whether this fuel hit 1,000 naira per liter, these people don't care. Do you know why? Because already whatever office they are occupying, there is a provision for that. Take care of your car, fix your car, buy your fuel, take care of your hospital bills, take care of your students' your children's school fees. And that's why they will not feel it. Imagine, okay, the number of convoy that we do see, you know, in this government officials.
Sambo Solomon, it was recently that we saw how that humongous amount of money, billions, are being allocated for bulletproof cars. And I spoke about the fact that if the issue of insecurity is being dealt with, we would not be seeing our government officials talking about bulletproof cars. If you're buying bulletproof cars, what happened to the common man in the village? What happens to him? So if the needful is being done, no wonder in other developed climes you see that government officials walk down the streets without any fear of anything, because they know the issue of insecurity is one that has been dealt with. So we will not be needing to allocate such humongous amount of money to buy bulletproof cars. This money could be invested in education, in health, infrastructural development, and all of that. But because officials, politicians know they are not doing the needful, and because it is about their personal interest, no wonder we saw even out of the $819 billion supplementary budget of 2022, about 70 billion naira is being allocated for members of the National Assembly, saying is to aid the newcomers and all of that. Why can't they look at the suffering Nigerians and say, no, we are not taking this, we are not against them having a good good life, but can you understand the times that we are in and see it that, when life improves for Nigerians, we can do, as leaders, can we see them sacrificing? But no, it's always the other way around. People are being made to sacrifice. You talk about transportation as at today. Something you used to pay 15 naira, you have to pay 200. You're not talking about 100% increase, about 150, 200% increase. So, well, the needful should be done.
Well, talking about the fuel hike, President ordered for review of the 8,000 stipends, that will be coming to the poor of the poor, family in Nigeria as palliative.
That figure generated a lot of reactions. A lot of netizens, Nigerians reacted to that, dragging the president. Oh, how would you say that 8,000 naira is going to be given to 12 million families? For talking about the poor, in 6 months you will be receiving 8,000. When you sum it in the 6 months, it's about 48,000. How much is a bag of rice? Costing about 40,000 or more. And then it is in 4. It is even when you sum it up that you get 48,000.
Yes,
so
yes.
With the reality that we're faced with, it was just yesterday, less than 24 hours after the MBS actually announced the increase in the inflation rate, that we saw how that NNPCL has jacked up their pump price to 617 naira. That already has adverse effects on other products and services. We've seen transportation also increasing.
Joyce,
is it 8,000 naira that is going to sustain a family?
Joyce, a bag of maize now, as we speak, is 55,000. So that means, I'm just trying to look at the calculation that you just give. The summary, summing the 8,000 into 6 is 48. That means it's not up to a bag of rice. Bag of maize. Maize, it's something that we will say is not that. But you sum it all, you cannot buy a bag of maize. And maize, definitely you have to grind it. Definitely you have to buy something to make soup or something, that will go with it. So in 6 months, all put together, you cannot buy one bag of rice. And then that's the reality.
The federal government was talking about the fact that this is going to be like a cash transfer. People were asking questions about how did you come about with the list on what is the modalities of coming up with that, the 12 million. How are you going to go about identifying this? Because we know we live in a country where data is something that we are not too serious about it when it comes to data and all of that. So, but then we've seen that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has ordered the immediate review of the proposed 8,000 conditional cash transfer to Nigerians, which was meant to cushion the effects of the petrol subsidy removal. And then he asked the National Assembly, recall that, to approve about $800 million loan to ameliorate the hardship induced by the removal of the first subsidy. And it was out of that $800 million loan that he requested for that he intended to actually send 8,000 naira to about 12 million families. And at the end of the day, about 60 million Nigerians being impacted. But again, I think the president has had all the dragging and all the reactions, and no wonder the review. But then, is the review going to be upward or downward is another question that a lot of Nigerians are asking. And then just opposing it to the 70 billion naira that that was allocated to the members of National Assembly, newcomers, and all. If looking at the breakdown, most of these things, you almost say that what is the need in this time that we're in? Shouldn't be priority be on cushioning the effect? Let's see things on ground, like reality. Like, do you know, Nigerians, and it's not about policies. People want to feel the impact of the policies. We cannot keep promising Nigerians we'll do this day in, day out. People are suffering. People are dying of hunger. Well, I do hope that this review, as we speak right now, the National Assembly are actually expecting the ministerial list. And you will recall that it was in March 2022 that President Muhammadu Buhari actually signed the amended constitution that says that every president or governor must, within 60 days, within 3 months, ensure that it submits the list of either ministers or commissioners to the Senate or the State House of Assembly. And I think it is in line with that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected, according to some sources within the villa, the list is expected to be submitted to the Senate. That's the upper chamber for screening and all of that. You recall that even before now, a lot of people have talked about the fact that, see, portfolios should be attached to names. Most times over the past years, we've seen how that is just names that just goes there without portfolio. At the end of the day, you find our accountant becoming Minister of Education, or somebody that read economics becoming Minister of, let's say, food. Or so. But I think it's going to be important if this list comes with portfolio. And this screening should be done rigorously. It should be something that's we just hope that the upper chamber of National Assembly will look beyond party interest, individual interest, but will look at competence, integrity in screening these people. And let's ensure that these are not people that have stolen from the national treasury. These are people that have a clean slate. It shouldn't be about, oh, paying back because you did this for me, or giving this person to cover up this. But let's look at national interest. And we are talking about this fuel price hike. We're talking about Tinubu ordering review. If you don't have the right circle, you won't get things done. We just keep going back and forth in the same circle. But even as we expect that the ministerial list is going to be submitted and the Senate are going to be screening, we hope that it's the right people that will emerge at the end of this, so that we'll be able to see growth. Beyond growth, we'll feel growth. And Nigerians as a whole, we enjoy the dividends of democracy. For goodness sake, governance is about improvement of welfare of the people. So we do hope that the welfare of Nigerians will improve. Let's not keep going backward. Life really, at the time that we're in, is hard. We can't deny it. We have to speak truth to power if we really want this nation to grow. And that is why we're saying it. Nigerians are suffering. The needful must be done.
You know, Nigerians are still saying we don't want to see those old people, you know, those old politicians that have a questionable character, you know, coming back, you know, in the name of ministerial appointment and the rest. And I want to believe that Mr. President knows well the predicament of this country, and then looking at his words, his promises, you know, that he is going to make sure that Nigerians feel the effect of good governance. You know, you can't achieve that if you don't bring the right thinking people around you. Definitely, you know, governance, you need people to rally around you, people that will think right, people that will support you, because you can't be everywhere at the same time. So you need to delegate responsibility. And like you talk about issue of competence, capacity, it is very key. Let's see the list and see who and there. And like you rightly said, let's see portfolio attached to this name, so that at least even if you are asking questions, you will know exact question to ask whoever that is standing before you based on the portfolio that is attached to him. And this issue of take a bow and go, we don't want to see that, you know, because that's when you will see a National Assembly that is being tagged as rubber stamp, because anything that comes before them is bow and go, or just hit that rubber stamp, and then it is over. Whatever happens, they don't care, because you feel if people are complaining, you are part of it, so you can't reverse what you do that people are complaining, you know. So we hope that, like you rightly said, the government will do the right thing, so that Nigerians will know that they are part of this country. Thank you so much, Joyce, for doing this with me today. And for you viewer out there, we really appreciate you for giving us your time. Let's do this tomorrow, same time, same station. Bye-bye, and God bless you.